All right, so welcome to your group ANZ Dynamics 65 FinOps team. We welcome all here, and we would like to start the session today's session with thank you for all the volunteers who have been working hard in getting all the contents ready on our YouTube channels and arranging speakers there. And special thanks to all the speakers who have spoken to our platform as of today. And without our attendees, no event make any sense and it's no benefit. So thanks for joining. Whoever has attended is attending us today, even from the roads, even from the cars, and whatever you are doing now is today over your busy weekend. So thank you so much for everyone joining us today. Just a brief introduction about our group is we created this group with this intention to gather all the finance and operations professionals from ANZ region so that we will have a dedicated group for finance and operations ERP modules. So we have been covering a lot of modules very well since last 2 years. We do have our YouTube channel. I'm going to share all the links in the next slide. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also on our LinkedIn group. You can also, you are most welcome to join this group at any time. If you want to lead the group, we are happy to accommodate you. We are looking for people who can really lead from front and get the sessions ready for us and for the community and then get it delivered. If you want to speak or if you want to lead, please get in touch with us and we are happy to have you on board. This is there are few Twitter or some tags, hashtags here which you can always use in order to get involved with the community. It's always give you a benefit and you get a more audience. So feel free to add these ANZ Dynamics 65 FinOps team hashtag whenever you are writing some blogs, tweeting, LinkedIn, and sharing on a Facebook. This is a very important slide for many people over here, where you can just scan the barcodes and join our LinkedIn group. You can join our meetup group. You can also subscribe to our finance and operations team YouTube channel and all the recordings, including the for session one of Patrick Short, which happened maybe almost a month ago. It's already uploaded there. So feel free to jump into that YouTube channel, subscribe, and watch all the YouTube channels, previous sessions from there. Without any further ado, I would like to hand over to Patrick Short. Patrick, thanks for again joining us today. I know your session one went very well, and we got a very good feedback, and a lot of people really want to have a more in deep dive sessions on the e-commerce sessions. So I would like to uh, say thank you very much on behalf of the whole community and on ANZ Finance and Operations team. And Patrick is joining us from Microsoft here in Australia. Again, if you have missed, feel free to scan all these barcodes here, and you are happy to get in touch with any of the uh, social media channels, which does include Microsoft Dynamics community. We do have our presence on Microsoft Dynamics community, and you can join us today. We do have a WhatsApp group, but as of now, we are just accommodating people who are based in Australia and New Zealand, and that's just because of the time limitations. We really don't want to have anyone get disturbed in awkward hours, like not having messages popping up in middle of the night. So we are just having, and this is where we are just responding all our questions less than 30 minutes or so. Whenever we get some time, there are almost 100 professionals have been added to that WhatsApp group. They are all professionals, experienced people working in Australia and New Zealand. So if you really want to get in touch and you are in Australia and New Zealand, feel free to get in touch with me and I'm happy to add you to the WhatsApp group. With this, the floor is set to you, Patrick. Thank you so much again.
Thanks, Faisal. All right, so let me just share my screen here. All right, so thank you everyone for joining the session. For those of you who were not on the session last week, that's okay. Last week we talked a lot about setup of commerce and the e-commerce side. This week we'll talk about a bit more about the features and functionalities and sort of things you can do both from a B2C perspective and a B2B. So I'm not going to kill you with PowerPoints at all. I just brought this one up just so you know who I am. For those of you who weren't on last week, so my name is Patrick Short. I'm a cloud solution architect at Microsoft. Been at Microsoft about 20 years, coming up in July, so a little while. And I look after everything that's under the F&O banner, the finance and operations. So as I go through today, I'm probably not going to see the chat window. If you want to put any questions in, Faisal, just pull me up. If there's lots of questions in there, I'll stop every now and again just to check if there's any questions in there, or please interrupt me if you've got anything you want to talk about or any questions you might have. All right, so let's continue on. So the first thing I want to talk about, just step a little bit back to where we were last week. And one thing I will do, because I know Teams is notorious for this, I'm just going to drop my camera for a sec while I go through this. So last week we talked a little bit about, last week, the last session we had about the setup. So I just want to talk a little bit about the online stores, the channels that we set up first. So if we go into our online store, now I've got a number of different environments I'll use today for different reasons, and I'll explain that as I go along, because some of them will be B2C, some of them will have the Fabricam theme I talked about in the last session, and some of them will have the AdventureWorks theme, which I've mentioned as well. And you'll see the slight differences when we start looking at those today. So if I go in here, there's two stores I'm going to use, or two channels. One's going to be a B2B channel and one's going to be a B2C. So important things here is around some of the setup. So I'll just quickly go in here just to remind everyone. So this is a B2B channel in here. Some important components of setup here are things like mode of the delivery, transport, those sorts of things that I want to set up. And there's two important things in here that we're going to discuss today around B2C, and that's our in-store pickup and curbside pickup. You can call these whatever you like. Basically, what I'm saying is I'm going to allow my customers to buy online and pick up in store, or buy online or pick up curbside, or whatever that may be for your business. Obviously, other important payment methods in here. Now, in our B2C operations, in this one here, I've got a number of different things around loyalty and so forth, and cash and credit cards and so forth. But what I do want to show you, if I go to my B2B online store, when I go to payment methods, which we'll get into a little bit later, I have an additional one called customer account. Now, what I'm saying for my B2B store, I'm going to allow my customers to put their payment onto a customer account. Now, I wouldn't do that particularly for a B2C, just because it's usually a consumer transactions, where as a B2B it's a business transaction. All right. So other things we want to look at here, just jump back to my B2C site. In my channel setup here, assortments, obviously things I'm going to sell to my customers. All right, so let me just remove that. I'm going away in a second, hopefully. Here we go. All right, so let's jump to my site builder. So my site builder, as per last week, is where I go and build everything associated with my site. Now, this is my Fabricam theme site, and this is my B2C site. I'm just checking the questions to bring up the chat there. Just a question. Oh, just a drop in there. That's fine. So this is my B2C site. Now on the right-hand side here, you can see I have a business site and a consumer site. But at the moment, we're just focusing on the B2C. So if we jump back into Site Builder, so Site Builders, as you might remember from last time, where my pages, that when I go and build something. So for example, when a consumer first comes to one of my sites, this is my home page. So in here is my home page. And this is where I build everything around my homepage. Okay, and I can make changes in here. We talked a little bit about that last time. Sort of products I'm going to sell, the things that I'm selling on my site, fragments, the header and so forth, and the footer, where I can create things in here, which is going to stay the same. So up the top here, that will remain the same no matter what page I go onto. So if I went to menswear, for example, all the header information is going to stay the same. Same with the footer information. So we set these up as fragments in our site builder. Excuse me, media library, that's all our images, videos, and everything we want to put on our store. URLs, pretty straightforward. As mentioned last time, templates and so forth, and we have different layouts and different designs as well. We can also have an audience. We might have a different type of audience. So let's say, for example, I do pets and so forth. Certain users might log in and they, love dogs. So I want to showcase dog stuff to them. I would want to showcase cat things to them. Now, some other settings, I'm not going to go through everything here because you want to get into buying things and purchasing things, but some important things in here. We can do store-based store detection. So just basically the user browser information to say where they are. When it comes to security, you can set up different security for people that are going to work on your site, and you can set that all up in here. Channels, again, what channels that come from our online stores here. These are my channels here. What channels I'm going to have. So let's say, for example, I have a Fabric Canvas standard online store. Maybe I'll have one in French. I might have one in German and so forth. So I can set up different mappings and so forth here. If I want to change that, I can change that. I can change my online store. Let's say I want to change it to another online store. I can do that as well because I've set up a brand new online store. I'm no longer selling fashion goods. I'm selling surfboards or something else. Now in features, some feature stuff here. Publish groups are very handy. I mentioned these a little bit last time, but just give you a bit of an example. If I want to use public groups to share content. So let's say, for example, if I click here on publish groups, this is my live site. I've also got another group here. But let's say I wanted to create a new home page. So I'll go back over here. This is the current homepage, but maybe we're going into a winter sale or summer sale or something else. And I want to use this homepage. So I can go up here and it says copy to publish groups. So I copy to that. I've got a publish group set up there. I just copy that. I go to my publish groups. And you can see here now I've got 2 pages. I've got the home page, which I just copied over. So again, you can share things across it. So it saves you creating everything again and again. So you can copy things, move things across, and you can schedule these. So let's say I want to go live at midnight, I can certainly do that. All right, some other things down here. There's all sorts of things here, experimentation. You can do all sorts of fancy stuff. Let's say you're selling red shirts and white shirts, and you can have the site to say, well, I'm going to put a white shirt and do an experimentation in a red shirt and see which one your users click on the most. So you can do things like that as well. CSS overrides, so you can do little things here without bringing in the software development kit. You can do little things in here. So let's say, for example, you can see my banner up the top here. Let's say I want to change the color art and make it a little bit more fancy for people to see. We'll just make it, I've got a little thing here. And I activate this, and all it is basically changing the color of this. It might take a little second or so to come through. Refresh. Make sure that's active. Yep. And again, so I don't have to bring in the full software development kit. If it's something little, something easy that I want to change, I can certainly do that on my web page. Down into extensions here, I mentioned themes. You can see here, this is a Fabricam theme. If I jump to this site here, this is the AdventureWorks theme. So this is a different theme again. Now on this side here, which I mentioned in the last session that you yourself can go to and actually play around with it and sign up. This is the B2C site we have. Okay, and this is the B2B site, and I'll get back to the B2B site later. This one here that I'm using at the moment is the Fabricam theme site, so I'm using that theme. If I had both themes in here, I might have a VentureWorks theme, or maybe I'm creating my own theme. You might have created an extension, you want to create your own themes, your own look and feel depending on your business. You can absolutely do that as well. Okay, so let's have a look how easy it is to change something. So let's say here's my new arrivals. I'm looking at my home page going, you know what, I want to change something on there. We can actually go into our pages here for our publish groups, and we'll go, here's my page. We'll go down to my carousel here. I don't like this picture. I want to change that. Up here, I just edit. And I don't like that picture. I'm going to change it to something else. I'm going to upload something else. What have I got here? VentureWorks themes here. Do have some other images here. What have I got here? That one. Let me upload and replace. Continue. Keep both. It's all right. I've already got one up there. Okay, so you can see here now, this is the one I'm going to select. I'm going to insert that. Okay, so I'm just going to save that for a second. I'm not going to finish editing because I'm just going to preview what that looks like first. So, and that's really easy to do. You can see that now it's changed to a skier here. Before I want to publish that, even though I'm just in my publish groups at the moment, I can preview it and have a look to see what that would look like on my home page. So you can do all these sorts of things, as I mentioned a little bit in the last session. And you know this is in preview, but it's going to tell you up here, I'm in preview. And you can see what this looks like on my site before I go and do anything with it. All right. So let's jump back to here to my site builder. And jump back to my live site here. So I'm going to go to my live site. So this is my live site running here with all the different pages associated with this live site here. So I've signed in as a user up the top right-hand side here. And we're going to go and purchase some items and see what that looks like. So we've already set up all our assortments. We've got our channel navigation here. We're going to go and purchase something. We'll get something shipped to us. We'll get something picked up in store. So let's go and have a look here. Let's buy some shoes. Okay, go down here. We'll buy some boots. Okay, boots here. Now, again, there's things that you would expect on a site. Again, using Fabricam theme, it works a little bit different on the VentureWorks, but I could add this to my wish list if I wanted to. But at this point, I'm going to add that to the bag. It's going to tell me, okay, you've added that to your bag. Do you want to view bag and check out or continue shopping? Let's say, okay, I'm going to continue shopping. Let's go back to menswear here. And let's go and buy, let's buy a jacket. Look. Okay. I'll add that to my bag. All right. So you'll notice just down here as well, just below my add bag, you've got buy now, pick up in store, and these are available pickup methods. Okay, you would have seen that when I was back in my online store. Remember I said here the options you had, and you had some options around what is my modes of delivery, and I had there in-store curbside pickup. Okay, so I've got two items here. We'll go to my bag over here. See what we've got. Just check if there's a question there. Do I set up for country sites in different languages? You can set that up at the moment. I won't be going through that just today. If I have an item, must be assembled at the time of sell. What can I do? Like a kit. We haven't got into that yet. I think that's on the roadmap. So again, just quickly on the language question, you can set up different languages. If you go to your online stores, down the bottom here, you can have different languages, different countries associated with it. So you can have all different languages. You can set that up maybe as an online store, and then you can bring in the languages associated with this store. So if I quickly jump to my VentureWorks on the right-hand side of the site, you can see all the different languages and so forth associated with the different sites that we've set up. All right, just back to my cart here. So I've got 2 items in here at the moment. So as a user, I've logged in here. I can go, okay, so what I might do is I'm going to pick this item up. So I've decided that actually I want my boots quicker. So I want to go into the store and I want to pick these items up. Now you can do a search or you can scroll down through your stores here. I've got San Francisco picked, so I'll just go here. It's in stock. It tells me when my stores are open. I'm going to go and do an in-store pickup or curbside pickup. I'll go for in-store pickup. Okay, so now you can see on here, I've got a pickup in-store and I've got 1 item shipped to me. I'm happy with that. I'm going to go to my checkout. Now you'll notice on my B2C site, I haven't got this set up for B2B, but I've got this option of pickup time. So within finance and operation or eCommerce, you can set up store pickup times. So you can say, okay, I've got a store and I want to service my customers, but I don't want customers coming in at any time. I want to be able to say to my customers, you can pick a date and you can pick a time slot. It's got 2, 4, 5 slots here. So if I go back into commerce here in the retail or finance and ops, you can see that for San Francisco store, I've set up some time slots. I'm basically saying that I've got a minimum time within a day that it takes me to pack that item. And then users can only search to 4 days out. So they have to come and pick up the item within that 4-day period. They can't go, oh, I'm going to pick it up in 10 days or 2 months' time. So as a business, that's what you're saying. And my different modes of delivery here, if I go on this one here, let's just edit this so I can show you what it looks like. So on the right-hand side here, it says order to pickup time settings. So start date, end date, I've got never at the moment. It's going to say, okay, mode of delivery for my in-store pickup. I'm allowing active pickup times between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. And these are my active days. So as a user, when I come to the site here, I will only be able to see the dates associated with the pickup days. Now, down the bottom here, there's time slot intervals. And what this basically means is I'm saying I'm allowing an hour each time within those periods and 5 slots per that hour. So if I go back to my checkout page again, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 slots there available to users to be able to select. So as a business, that gives you a chance to manage when you're going to allow the people to pick up. There's also a curbside one here. You could have warehouse pickup or whatever you want to call it. And you might have different days again, which I've got set up here as well. And this is for my San Francisco store. Now there is a batch job that you need to run. And that batch job is just to synchronize the availability of those items here to process pickup time slots. As these are getting used, that batch will run and say, okay, now there's only 4 slots available. Okay, excuse me, just grab a drink. All right, so I'm going to save and continue. I want to pick it up between 9 and 10. Then it tells me the information when I'm going to pick it up. On the right-hand side here, you can see that I'm shipping still be calculated because I've got 1 item that I'm going to get posted to me. Any tax or GST locally here in Australia, what it might be. Down here, I still see information on the right-hand side here around my shopping bag, the items that it's going to be shipped to me and where I am. and my selection. So again, modes of delivery and the costs associated with those modes of delivery. They could be FedEx, they could be TNT, whatever it may be, Australia Post, and the costs associated with that. I'm going to save and continue. Now you notice on here, I've already got a card set up here for payment methods. Now, just one thing to note, this is my B2C site. So there's, you would have heard me mention earlier talking about on customer account. There's no ability for my B2C customers to put it on an account. Not that I don't trust them, but generally you would only have that as a B2B because you've got a business relationship. So at the moment, I'm just going to save and continue as a consumer. That's going to go through. Email is going to be sent to me. I place that order. And when that comes up, it says, you know, here's a QR code. You're going to send an email to me. It's going to say, hey, by the way, this is your in-store pickup. This is the item. This is your shipping address for the other item. Now, once I go back to Dynamics and the batch jobs are run, I would get sent an email and it looks something like this. It says, hey, your order's been shipped and so forth. Once I start processing that, this one here, you know, you can set up a template to say, you know, come and get your stuff. If you're going to pick things up, it's just how you want to set up the templates. Now back into Dynamics here, what would happen is you would come in here and you run your P job, which will pull the transactions from your channel. And this is obviously set up as batch, but you'll come in here and you run this. I'll run it now. And that will pull the information through. And if I look at my on-store transactions, it will pull this information through here. So you can see some of these that have been here for the other day. So once they come in here, let's refresh this while it pulls my order in. Okay, so it's pulled in my new order here.
Here, just reverse parking. Okay, please. Yep, thank you.
All right, so this is my order here. This is the one I just did. You can see here the synchronized status, orders pending status. I haven't synchronized that order yet. It tells me, you know, who put their order through. Okay, there's no sales order yet. I need to synchronize that order. And that's now in the batch queue. If I look at one of these others, there's a sales order has been completed and a synchronized status is succeeded. So when you get this status, then it will be available on your point of sale for pickup. Okay, so at the moment, this order is still going through. Okay, but in the meantime, let's say that I've walked into the store to pick up one of my other orders here. So I come over to my point of sale. Now this is the cloud point of sale. You can have a modern point of sale, which you install on the device. When I did my PowerPoint last week, or sorry, the last session, I talked about the different options for point of sale. So you can have modern point of sale, which is on a device. So that would be something like where the cashier is, like you walk up to the store, you pay for your item and they run the transaction through. Cloud point of sale can be any device, so long as you've got internet connectivity, you can use the cloud point of sale. So I've logged in as my user up here, Andrew, and I'm going to have a look for what orders are coming in. Or Andrew could also just be a cashier or someone working on the floor and have a look at what orders are to fulfill. So if Andrew comes in here and has a look, going, okay, I've got a few orders coming in here. I'll just go rid of the details here. And it's telling me there's a bunch of orders here. I can see pickup times and days. This one here says, okay, this one's going to be picked up between 9 and 10. It's been accepted. Let's have a look at this one. I can see where it is. It's obviously my store. What information is on the order, okay, and do I have inventory? So as a user, you can come down here and go pick, and I might just start picking that. So then it know you've got an update on what's going on with the order. So if a customer rings up, you could quickly come in here and go, look, your order's been picked at the moment, or let's say, you know, we've finished picking it, let's mark it as picked, okay? So again, you can do all these sorts of things. So we've come in here, we've found the orders. So let's just pack one and we'll pick it up. All right, so this is picked. Let's just say it's packed, marked as packed. So the order's been completed. I've walked in the store and said, hey, it's between 9 and 10. I'm here to pick up my item. The cashier would come in here, look up the item, then look up the customer's name or orders to be picked up and push this order through. So while that's going through, oh, okay, I haven't set that up correctly on that side. That's okay. Let's have a look at one of these others to see whether or not I push that through. Let's just go pick this one up. We'll bypass all that. Got there one. Okay, I mightn't have set up at the back end for the credit card information. Let's have a look on this first one here. Here we go. All right, so I've come into the store. Now, you've got the ability at this stage to go, okay, the customers come up and said, hey, I'm here to pick up my shoes or whatever they're there for pickup. You can say, how would you like us to put that payment on the credit card you use for your online transaction? Or do you want to pay it for some other method? We're just going to push that through. Just say that's fine. So that order will go through. Then there will be another email sent out as long as you've got the template set up to say, hey, your order's been shipped or the order's here to pick up, whatever that may be, depending on your setup. Okay, that's going through. We'll go back here. So if I went back to my user signed out, that'd be right. Sign back in here. And you notice here with my B2C, there's only a limited amount of things here to see. When we get to my B2B, you're going to see a lot more. Okay, so let's have my POS is still going through there. That's okay. Let me bring in my B2B and just check questions before we go. That'll be Islam. That'll be a different. That would just be a different method, right? A payment method. If you allow that as a business, you could have that as a different payment method. You should be able to set that up. And then maybe it's something along the lines of you allow it on an account or something like that, and you can call it cash on delivery or whatever it may be. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at our B2B component, which is a lot of people are really interested in the B2B component. So let me bring in this other side of mine I have here. Okay, so what you can see here is my Fabricam business. So before I just have my standard Fabricam out of the box. So if I look at my Fabricam business site here, I'm signed in as Jim. And again, I still have in here in my finance and ops, excuse me. For this to restart. I still have in here my online store. So if I go down here to my online store here, in this case here, I've got a Fabricam B2B store. If I go to my site builder in here, this one's been asleep, so it needs to wake up. You can see up here my Fabricam B2B site. You also notice I've got lots of other sites here. Okay, this is one of our internal sites, so lots of people use different sites set up here. Okay, so this is my B2B site builder. So first thing I want to have a look at here is my Fabricam site here. We're going to have a look at Jim. So if I go to my accounts, I can see what Jim has set up for his business here. Oh, it's a little slow. Check any questions, we're still good. Okay. So Jim is a user of a my B2B site. Now how Jim became about a user, he came through my Fabricam business site and he's become a business partner. Now you have the ability in our B2B component to have business partners sign up to become a business partner. So maybe you got a site, someone's come along and said, oh, this looks good. I'd like to resell some of this stuff that the Fabricam business is selling. So they can start an application. So they can put an application through to say who they are, you know, and so forth, and a bit about their company. And then they can sign up. And when they do that, in the back end here, they will come up here when a batch job's run. There's a batch job to pick this up. And they will come up into my all prospects, and they'll be shown as a B2B prospects. So at the moment on my B2B site, if Jim was brand new, he can't come here and purchase items because he's not a business partner of mine. As opposed to a B2C site, right? You could come in, you can buy what you want. You might sign up to be a user, or you might be just want a guest checkout. But from a B2B's perspective, you want more control over that. So once Jim signed up, he signed up and he started his business, and he signed up, becomes a prospect. Once that's approved, then that would be pushed through and he would have access to the site. Now you can have email templates set up in the background to send an email to say, hey, thanks for your interest in our company. Someone will contact you shortly and we'll be in touch and we can go from there. All right, just making sure I cover everything off, or things that I've got to cover off. I've got about 15 minutes or so. Check questions. You can still use call center in commerce, but we haven't integrated with other marketplaces yet. Like you talked about things like Amazon and so forth. We haven't done that as yet. You can always link, or you can create extension, customize it according to what you need. All right, so let's jump back to my site here. This one here. This is my business site, and we'll go through a few things here. So things that Jim could do. So Jim could come in here and purchase some items here. Now, an important thing about Jim here is if I come in, let's say I buy some shoes. And because I'm a B2B user, I might say I want 4 of these. I'm going to add them to a bag. We'll come back to this maximum quantity shortly because we can set that up as well. Just set that to embed. My site's a little bit slow at the moment with the pictures, but that's okay. I can come in here. I've got the items I want. I want 4 of these. I could have 400 of these. If I go to checkout, there's an important difference between a checkout of a B2C and a B2B. So for me, in this one here, I'm saying I'm buying a bunch of shoes. I've got 4 of these. It's a very similar look and feel from a B2C to a B2B. If I go down here, I'm going to say, you know what, standard delivery. But the option down here is different. So remember on my B2C site, I had a credit card. So what I'm saying here is for my business users, I'm allowing Jim to apply that credit to his account. So that gives Jim the ability. So if I go and find Jim Jones in here, if I go to my, looking for my customer hierarchies here, I'm going to have a look at Jim's business. So it's Jim's Jeans. Here's Jim. He's got a business in here. This is the B2B organization. It's Jim's Jeans, and these are the users associated with that organization. If I go into the Jim here, there's a couple of important things that we need to know from a B2B perspective. Not only that he's a B2B user, so if I come down here, I can see on my credit and collection, I can set credit limits for people as well. So users that log into my B2C, my B2B site, I can set credit limits. Now, if this is not turned to yes, it won't set that in concrete. So in other words, it won't stop them. This will just be information to say, hey, they've got a credit limit. And what that means, if I jump back to my site and go and have a look at my account. If I look at my organization users, I can see here credit limits for everyone that's in my business, okay? And all the spending limits, what they're allowed to do. So Bob's a new user here. You can see it's sitting at pending. That's because I haven't run a batch job and back end to say, yeah, he's been approved to be able to purchase from my site. So there's credit limits there as well. And down here, I wanted to show you the right-hand side here. Jim is set up as a B2B user in their customer hierarchy, and he's the administrator. So that gives you the ability to do it manually as well. So remember I said you had to fill out a business form on the site. We can also do this stuff manually in the back end. It just gives you a different option, different flexibility around doing that. All right. The other thing that I need to show in here is this one here is very important. Allow on account. So when I did the checkout here, if I did not have this set and I come to this part when I'm paying, it will not show on account checkout. So this here wouldn't show if that field wasn't ticked. So if you see that at all and you can't work out why I can't put it on account, that was one part of it. And the other part obviously is my extensions. In here, I've got to have this set. Enable customer account payments, enable for B2B customers. So that's component there. All right, so let's just go back here to Jim. And my organization users, and you can see all my users here. I go back to my account here. I can see my credit limit and so forth. If there's any invoices, I haven't set this up too well lately, but if there's any invoices, any open invoices, I've got some here. Now I had the ability to pay these invoices through my site as well. If I want to pay this invoice, I'll have to have my shopping cart empty. Just remove that for a sec. And I want to pay the invoice. I could request the invoice. I could get an email sent to me. I can even say, do I want to pay the full amount? Do I want to specify amount? So let's say I've got a $200,000 bill here. I might say I only want to pay 10,000 of it, whatever it may be. So when I go to checkout, you can go and pay by credit card or whatever it is. You know, we allow for all sorts of payment methods, and you can go through the process and pay for that. Okay, I'm not going to do that at the moment. We'll just go back to my account. Okay, and there's some other things here that you would expect to see, right? And if I go to my VentureWorks site here, this is another site as well that I mentioned you can use. If you went to this site yourself, you can actually sign up for it and use it. It's a trial that anyone can use. Same deal here. I would have organization users, I would have credit limits and so forth. Now, the other thing on this site, which I haven't mentioned on my Fabricant site, is order templates. So I can set up order templates because I'm working as a B2B organization. I'm not going to buy one of a pair of jeans, a pair of shoes. I'm going to buy in bulk. Okay, so I can have templates here. I can create a template. I could edit templates. I can have whatever I want. So let's say I did come to the site and I was looking for more surfboards. As a business, I want to sell more surfboards. I come in here and I go, you know what? I like this Yamba surfboard. It's actually where I come from. Come in here and go, you know what? Yeah, 6.2, get it in blue. Got an order quantity here. Damn. I actually can place bulk orders. Just showing out of stock at the moment, so I can't add it to my cart. But again, there's all sorts of things here. There's more stuff around recommendation service, which I got and talked a little bit about last session. And again, curbside pickup, in-store pickup. So I still have the ability to do that. And I can buy in bulk purchases. So what this gives me ability to do is say I've got all my variants here. So I've got my colors, the sizes, and then I can just put in bulk quantities. But the other thing I can do, I can add to a template. I can't do it in this site just at the moment because I'm out of stock, But if I wanted to add it, I can go up here and it says add order to template. Okay, and it says which one you're adding to. Well, I want to add it to my surfboards here. Add to template. Okay, so when the item's back in stock, I will be able to come back and order the item. It's just not there at the moment. All right, the last thing I want to talk about, and I've got 10 minutes left, I want to leave a few minutes for any questions, is order quantities. So you can definitely set up order quantities. So if I go in here, let's go look at a watch. So you notice when I come in here and I look at this stopwatch, where am I on? Wrong site. No, I'm on the B2C site. Oh, wrong one. This is the one. Watches. So as a B2B site or as a B2B business, you might not want one customer to buy all your items. So if you've got expensive items, you don't want one customer coming and buy everything. So you can set maximum minimum components, but you can also say my maximum quantity for this item is 11. And where is that coming from? So if I go to my extensions here, and I'll scroll down here, I'm going to say cart line quantity is 11. So that's across the board. However, you also have the ability, and no matter what I do here, so let's say I put in 20, it's not going to let me, no matter what I do, it's going to say maximum 20. But if I go to my menswear and I go to my jeans, I'll go to my bootcut jeans. You can see here I have a different maximum order quantity, even though this is saying, hey, 11. So what takes the is the highest of the hierarchy of the order quantities? If I go into commerce here and I go down my release products, and I put in my number of my item. This setting in here, default order setting, it will take this first. So it will go to the release product and said, do you have any specifics around your sale quantities? So you can see in here, I've got 5. So when I go back to here, it's saying the most I can buy is the 5. Okay. So it's going to go there first before it looks at my site settings here. All right. So with that, I've got about 8 minutes left. Just want to pause there, see if I've got any questions. Look in the chat. Any questions, concerns? Okay. Couple more things then while we're there. We'll just keep going. Got questions, throw them in the chat window or just yell out. So the other things we can do here, we can manage our invoices and so forth. I haven't got anything on that one here. Let's jump into my B2B site, see what Jim's got. I can look at things like my invoices. I can request an invoice. I can request depending on what it is. We can also take a look at things like, if I look at my account credit, and that's not the one I want to look at. Let me jump back here. Now I can request a statement. Now I can request a statement for my statement as a user, or I can request an organization statement. So then I can have a look at all my users, how they're spending money, what's happening with my users, what am I purchasing, buying, and so forth. So I can pull all sorts of information from my B2C site or my B2B site. So again, that helps from a business perspective, dealing with business partners. So instead of them ringing you up all the time or ringing your team saying, hey, can I get a statement? I want to know what we're purchasing. Hey, where's my latest invoices? Can I have a look at those invoices? Hey, for call center sort of functionality still there, but instead of those business users ringing up saying, hey, I want to purchase 20 of this item, 40 of this item. Can you push that order through? Sure, we can still let it do that at the back end. But again, the B2B sites gives them the ability to do that. All right. Now, a couple of other things that are coming. We've got stuff around catalog items. So where you can set up specific catalogs depending on the customer. So let's say a customer comes to your site, logs in, it gives them the ability to see only things that are associated with that catalog. So let's say you've got a customer that you only sell surfboards to and you only want them to see surfboards. Well, they come to your site and they would only see surfboards. They're only about to purchase surfboards, and there's a bit of functionality around that as well. And then you can have pricing and all sorts of things associated with that. All right, just the last thing here, a B2C site here. All right, again, easy sort of stuff to be able to customize, change things, very, very flexible. You can do all sorts of things, very easy to go through and do that. From a management perspective, again, you can have different sites. You might manage a B2B site, your marketing team, it's the same information across both. Or with this other one of mine where I have lots and lots of sites, the team can still manage these sites from the one platform, from the one spot. We have some wineries and stuff that manage all their wineries from the same place. And they're different countries and so forth, but they use a lot of the same images and so forth, so it's easy to use. All right, with that, I'll call a halt there with 4 minutes to go. Any questions?
No questions so far, Patrick. Thank you so much.
Excellent.
And as a shopaholic, those pages looks very familiar to me. Now I can play with at the back end. That would be fun, and I can place as many orders as I want without any commitment from my wallet. I'm excited. Thank you so much.
No worries. Now, again, we use the Adyen payment connector out of the box. So if you need to get a credit card when you're playing around with this yourself, you would have seen when I placed an order.
Yeah.
You can do that. So you can just get an Adyen, go to their site. Let me see if I've got the link here quickly. I'll bring that up. On this site. All right, so again, these are the test card numbers. Okay. So for me, I set up a Visa one to say, hey, I want to use a Visa card. So there's all sorts of ones here you can use. Okay. So when you put this in, when you use Dynamics in the back end, when you come in here, and if I go to my online store, make sure you've got it set up as a payment method.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. This is so fun.
Yeah, it's good. And then as long as you've got it set up here as cards, okay, I've got it set up to say accept my Visa card. I've got a whole bunch here, but Visa, and then I'm just using one of those test cards in here for Visa.
Thanks.
Okay. All right.
Good.
2 minutes left. No worries. Now, if you have any further questions or anything, please feel free to reach out to me. All my details are in the meeting invite. The guys with their ANZ user group here, Faisal and Ratchet, I don't know if he's on the call today, but please reach out to those guys as well. They're across a lot of this stuff and run some really good sessions. So thank you for joining, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Patrick, again. It was a very good session, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I'll upload the sessions on our YouTube channel very soon.
Thank you, Faisal.
Thank you. Is there any other question? I think so. Islam is still writing something. Let's wait for a moment if you still have any question or not. Thank you. No, it's all good, Patrick.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.